Alright, I'm back. And actually I just took an hour and a half break. I checked it after a half hour and it wasn't dry. There's still a lot of wet spots. So I checked it again an hour and it wasn't dry. So it took about an hour and a half, and there's still, like, this section still feels a little wet. But the rest of it is dry. Right, I can just rub this, see, not a lot coming up. Over here though, it's a little heavier. Okay, so this is good. I think I can start again, and we'll just start up here in the sky because that's definitely dry up there. Okay. Alright, so let's get some of that sky color. There's that. And I was using that gray also, and then maybe a little white. Let's try these. Okay, so I'm just going to take this same blue and just go over and make another layer. And it just goes right on top, no problem. And you can kind of see the texture of the paper again. Yeah, it's definitely creamier than Mungio's, much creamier. Definitely creamier than the Van Goghs and the Craypas. I would say though, a lot of it feels like Sennelier, except when it comes to blending, it feels more like a Neo Pastel. So I would say softness so far to me seems to be somewhere between Neo Pastels or equivalent to Neo Pastels, but I don't feel that they're quite as soft as the Senneliers. And who knows if I'm even pronouncing that right, you know? Is it Sennelier, Sennelier? Who knows? I don't know. But you guys understand what I'm talking about. There's a softness to it. And those scents, they feel like butter. Really, they feel like a lipstick, like a soft, butter. They're very soft. With scents, I keep the papers on because they're so soft that if I take the papers off, they start to get mushy. Where these feel a little bit closer to Neo Pastels. Alright, so that's just my observations so far. I like them. I think they got some nice colors. I like the size of the stick. They're really big. It's the biggest stick, I think, compared to the other ones I have. The overall thickness, which is nice. Alright, so we're just going to spread this blue around, scrub it around. I want to get a nice, smooth, deep color. You got to put a lot on. Throw it down into here. Okay, and I was using this gray also, this light gray, which really leans really warm. Okay, so we'll put some more of this in there. And we're going to try to blend it up and make a nice transition. So I'm going to kind of move some of this up. I'm just kind of going right over that, just moving that up, and then we'll blend that. Okay. Alright, and then with this stick you can actually start cutting in and kind of Bring a little bit more detail to these trees and kind of cut into it a little. So you can do that. I'm just going to kind of try to cover this though. Let's see, and it comes over here. Right, and then we'll feather that up. So it's nice to have the papers on it. I'm just using the edge of the stick to get more of a precise line if I need to, and then you can go like this and kind of cover more area. All right, maybe a little over here, not too much. Mostly blue up there. And we'll kind of keep going over light up here. I'm going to blend this out. Let's see how this blends out. But this is also a nice look, just to keep it like this, kind of this unblended look. It's kind of a nice effect. So, but I want to blend it. I want to see what it looks like all smooth. Okay. So maybe a little bit more blue coming down. And this is that light gray. So I'm glad I have this. This is probably a stick that I'll use you know, a lot quicker than the other ones, so this will be one that gets replaced a lot. Same with the blue here, because these are the colors I use a lot. Okay. Kind of cut into the trees. Okay. All right, just kind of vary that transition down into it, and then you can pull it down with your finger, and that will kind of push it back. It won't be so popping forward. It kind of changes the value every time you push into it with your finger. Okay, so let's try to blend that out. A stump I'm going to need a stump, and that is what this is. And try to find, this side's already blue, so maybe I'll go with that. I'll try to do this without shaking the camera too much. So it blends really nice. It's really easy to cover. It's pretty smooth. I'm not having to put a lot of pressure down like I would with the harder brands like Mungio or the Van Goghs, so that's nice. But softness wise, I still feel they're closer to Neo Pastels than they are the Suns, in my opinion. right? And let's just keep going right across. So yeah, this is moving pretty easy. You can see I can smooth it out. Just moderate pressure on the paper as I'm doing this. Just kind of mix those in. Helps to have a stump like this to do this kind of work. It's just easier. I could do it with my fingers, and that's easy too. But I think with the stump I have a little bit more control. And you can just use back and forth. Oop. So I got a little brown on that, so now I gotta rub that out. That came from on this side. It's okay. You can just scrub it out and just put some more blue on it and it'll cover over just fine. Okay. Let's start with the sky first, and then you'll prevent stuff like that usually. Just stay on the sky until it's all done. Alright, so we're going to transition the sky. And so I did a pretty good job of starting that. Just want to bring that blue down into it. Okay, just really work that color around. You can make really sudden changes, but you can get a nice smooth look just by really working it. Okay. Keep going. Just move it around. Alright. Oh, these are nice to work with. I like them. I don't know, though, if I would actually mix them in the rest of my set. I might keep these separate. But they're nice. They're very smooth. They're easy to cover. It's an easy, it's a very good oil pastel as far as its blending, covering abilities to be able to spread the color out. Like the way I'm doing here is very easy to do with this brand. Alright, so we got a nice, see that transition, that sky just kind of lightens up here as we go from top to bottom. Try to just keep that so it looks like a good transition. Okay, so a little mark there I gotta cover, and I'll just take more of this little gray and just kind of go over that. It's a little bit of brown that came off this stump here. All right. So, not bad. Pretty good. Pretty easy to spread this color around and get a nice smooth look to the sky. Okay, so we got the sky in, and we can keep playing with that if we want, but that is good enough in my opinion. All right, let's go to this mountain. See that distant one right there? And really looks blue. Question is, what version of blue? So down here, maybe this one. Maybe if I take this and the gray, see what happens. All right. So this distant mountain that you see poking back in here. This color is a cobalt blue. Cobalt blue. Okay. And I think it's kind of feeling a little greasy. Okay, this is a titanium white. I'm just going to loose on that. It's very light. A little bit more of this cobalt blue. And maybe a little bit more of that white. Just very light. Okay, and then we'll take a stump and just mix those in. I can still see the this lavender color underneath a little bit. I can see that coming through, which is nice. As long as the value is correct, it really doesn't matter the color of these mountains. It just the strength, the value of the color has to really matter. And I'm going to give it a blurry edge. Yeah, just take the stump and kind of blur up the edge, because we want that to sit back. It doesn't want to come forward. Okay. Now right next to it, I got this mountain here, and this is going to go darker. So I'm going to go a step darker. And let's play with these two. So we have a French ultramarine and a phthalo blue. Phthalo blue, phthalo blue, phthalo blue. Tomato, tomato. It's all good. Just a dark blue, I guess, was good enough. Okay, and this mountain just cuts in front of it right here. So darker value. Interesting, this color has a different consistency than the other ones I was using. Doesn't seem as soft, and I know that can change from color to color within the same brand. So this has a kind of a harder feel almost to it. All right, now I'm going to take some of this French ultramarine and just go over the top of that. Okay, go over here. Okay, as long as it's darker than that, that's what we want. Maybe a little bit more over here. Okay. All right, now we're going to take a stump. We'll try to get a dark one. Actually, no. Okay. This has some brown in it from previous work, but it's okay. It'll work, I think. All right, so now I'm going to take this stump and I'm just going to go over the top of that and spread that around. Mix it up. Hold my camera while I do this. Try not to get it so shaky. Okay, taking my finger to the edge and kind of just blurring that edge a little. Now we're going to have a light source come here, so I'm going to light this up with the light, but for now I'm just kind of treating it as one there. Okay. Alright, so you see the value changed there. That's about right. Okay. Alright, let's go to this guy. Let's put some color down on this one. So I'm kind of looking at my blues. Just look at, maybe I'll start with this as a shadow color. Okay, I'm kind of just looking at my reference. I'm trying to find the shadows there and just go over that with this. I think I'm going to change my blue up. I think I'm going to go more like one of these. This is a cobalt. Let's see what that looks like. This will be a shadow right here. Okay, comes down, this part's all shadow. Okay. Shadows in there. On this side. These long shadow here to define the side of the cliff face. There's a part that goes down and then back in here. More of them. Okay. And this part's all shadow. All of it. Okay, now we're going to take that light gray, I think, and I think I'm going to use a light gray as highlight on the rock. You know, the sun's coming obviously from the right to left, so it's coming from here. Okay, so this is the side that really gets the sun. We'll just use this light gray and just go over the light parts, the lavender parts that were down there before. Okay, and I actually am going to get that lavender, I think it was this one. Yeah, the ultramarine violet, that's what it was. So yeah, this one, I want to extend that back a little bit down here like that. Alright, and so that way, take a little bit more of this gray, this light gray. My wife is home. I'm going to say hello to her. Oh, she just went to the bathroom. Alright, you can see that rock starting to come alive here. Can bring it down, the trees. I'm even going to put a little bit of rock indication on the shadow side. It's going to be a darker color though, so probably maybe even this there. What is this one? A gray titanium dioxide. Interesting. Right? This will be on the shadow side. Right. It's kind of the color of the rock and shadow, basically. There we go. Right. What was this one? Cobalt blue. Put some more cobalt blue. And I'm going to go a little step darker in some of these spots. This is that phthalo blue. Okay. Got to indicate even darks within the shadow area. Like some areas are darker, crevices and whatnot. You gotta have darks within the dark, huh? Gives it more of a realistic look, feel. See it coming alive. All right, now I'm going to bring in light blue. I think this one, I'm going to see, I want to bring in a highlight to this. Nope, that's not going to make it. So we need a light gray. I need a lighter blue, but I just don't really have it here, so I'll have to use this. And then kind of use the finger to smudge, but indicate a little bit of light. Certain spots back there. Okay, it's very subtle. But noticeable. Okay. And this, what is this? I keep forgetting this. Ultramarine violet. Duh. It's violet. Kind of bring that color down from the mountain down into the tree banks here. All right. And a little violet on the shadow side. There's probably some light areas that kind of pop out at us. It's starting to shape up. Okay, so let's see if we can blend this out. Let me get a stump here, another one, a smaller one. There we go. I think something like that. Smaller tip. Okay, one hand on the camera, one hand on the stump. All right, just kind of blend that. Maybe with the finger I kind of pull it down. Kind of do a lot of that right here, just doing this. You can kind of see those colors now kind of blend into each other. Kind of gives it a really nice look to it. And as towards I get to the top, I'll come back to this stump here, because you got this nice point here that you can kind of do that with it. You can kind of really get an edge to it, a little bit more control. It's easy enough just to take the finger and just do it this way. I'm going to take a break here. And take a break. All right, taking a little break, but we are going to continue. So where I left off, I was working on this mountain back here. And I think we'll just use the finger and just kind of drag that down. Maybe even a stump on some of these parts here where it's a little tight. Okay, I'm just kind of pushing in, just dragging that color down. It changes it a little bit, kind of pushes that back. Softens the lines. You can see I'm putting my hand right here on the surface as I do this. And I'm not getting anything there, so that's good. Okay, drag that up. Good to have a stump, and I kind of go between the stump and the finger. The finger kind of broadly pushes the color. The stump allows me to have a little bit more control in that, and I can really push color into certain little tight spots with it. So you see me going back and forth between that stump and my finger, and that just gives me a different effect and technique. Kind of a different look with each with each different way of doing it. I can stop up here in an edge where I can really get right up to that edge and really control that with the point here. So these are very helpful to have. Tortillions, stumps, whatever you want to call them. You can find them on the art store. In the drawing section is where I usually get them. You can stand back and you can see it's really coming together. Starting to come together. I like this this violet lavender coming through here as the mountain kind of goes away from us, because we know that this part of the mountain is closer to us than this part of the mountain. So you see a change here. I like this lavender, this violet for that. That way it's not all the same light gray going across. There's some variation of value of color there that changes. So this is what I'm just kind of thinking out loud as I go through my painting here. All right. I'm going to take this gray again, go over, again, put down a little bit more, kind of push in, okay. We'll have some trees that will come up here, and but right now it's just about this mountain here in the back. All right, and then in the shadow of the clip, I'm going to put in a little bit of this gray titanium dioxide. What a name. All right, we'll put some of that gray titanium dioxide over here. It's kind of a neat effect, add a little bit of color into the shadow of this big mountain. There's a little bit of that color into the shadow, kind of helps it. Maybe even a little bit of this violet into it, just a little. This has got a really greasy feel. I notice that some of these sticks, the label feels greasy, I notice that. Not every color though. Okay, another value here in the shadow. All right, just kind of playing around. All right, and I'm going to come back to the cobalt blue. little bit of that. Further away, those values, those shadows do lighten up. So the shadows here that are closer to the view are darker than the shadows that pull away. If that makes any sense. So bring a little light to these here. Another blue, this is that sky blue up here. I'm kind of putting it some here in the different spots, just kind of changing up the shadows a little bit, you know, adds interest. It works. And then we're going to take a dark, and this is a phthalo blue, and then we'll put a little bit more of the dark inside of the dark. Maybe that dark part of the mountain is just a little bit deeper in that area. A lot of crevices and, you know, things, canyons and crevices in the side of the mountain. Maybe the rock's just a different color. Maybe there's some trees. Just vary those up. Not too much detail because there's going to be a tree here that covers most of this up, but certain spots just want to change a little. All right, let's take a look at it. Looking pretty good. I'm liking it. And gonna make that. Okay, now over here, take that titanium dioxide gray. Yeah, and top of this is getting lit up. Maybe even a little right there, just a little. Okay. Kind of looks green on top of that that blue, doesn't it? Kind of leans green. All right, now let's actually, you know what? I'm going to bring a different brown. This is a I can't even read that. Cooked brown soil, something like that. Let's put that here. Just a little, rub it in there, rub it in that blue. So it just gets a little bit of warmth to it, a little bit of warmth inside the dark. And we'll bring it down. Just gets another dimension to it. Okay. And then this is that French ultramarine. We'll put some of this in there. So on top of that brown that we just put in, scrub some of that on there. Okay, good enough. And then I don't think I'm gonna maybe highlight one of these. Not too much. Okay, just a little highlight. All right, so everything's kind of stacking down here. This is stuff I've been using. A lot of blues and various blues. All right, let's move down. Starting trees. So let's look at the trees. Okay. So I was using that. Is it this one? Yeah, this is that Prussian blue, I think. Yep, that's what's there. Okay. This will be my dark. Okay. So you can take the stick and kind of edge here and kind of bring out a little bit more definition here in some of these. This is really soft though. This feels really soft in my hand. Okay, just making little trees. Okay, and it's darker down here, so I'm gonna press in right here. Dark at the base of all these trees here. And on that left side, because the light's coming here. So I'm kind of dropping like a shadow that would be on that left side, right? Bottom left of that. You can see where this would be another tree right here, so. Yeah, another one right there. Okay, just thinking about the shadow part of it. Using this Prussian blue, that's what that is. Okay, coming up here. Now it's definitely darker than that ultramarine color back behind it, so this should lay right on top, and it does. Nice. See that definition there? There's another tree. Another one right there. Okay, make a point and then just kind of go like that. Right, and up in here, just work a little bit more delicately. Trying to find an edge. The paper is starting to get close to the edge there, so it's all right. We'll bring some color into it and make it work here, but just worrying about the darks. Okay. So I'm going to peel back some of this paper because it's getting a little. There we go. Just a portion of it. So some sticks I can feel they're just greasier than others. They're a little softer, a little greasier. This phthalo blue, or this, not phthalo, the Prussian blue seems to be one of those greasier sticks. Okay, there's a tree that's going to be sitting here. Spread it out. It's a bigger tree. There'll be some other trees that, in fact, there's a tree that has a branch that comes out like that, or a tree trunk that goes out like that. And there's a lot of these big tree trunks in here. We can kind of put those in there a little bit. Trees here. taller ones. Yep. Okay, and real dark in here. Not have to even worry about this so much because that's all going to get covered, I think, for the most part. But yeah, back in here. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take this stump and I'm going to kind of go back over that and just kind of push those around, kind of spread out just a little, but not a lot. Like I'm not really blending it out. I'm just kind of pushing out the color, kind of pushing it into the paper somewhat, kind of smoothing it out, I guess is a good way to think about it. All right. It just slightly changes the value. It's still nice dark, the dark I want, but it slightly softens that. Okay, let's hit one in between these two trees. Okay, this Prussian blue, I'm just going to drag it down in here. We're going to go over it with the nice green here and really define this field, but I do want that dark back in there first. So different values there. There's kind of looks interesting. Changing the way some of these trees look. So they're not all the same shape of fir tree. Some have, you know, different shape of foliage. So I'll push up like this, or I'll come down like that. Just kind of change it. Move around. Go to this side. There's the big tree. Push those colors, spread it out. You can use a stump to even draw in some distant, you know, trees in between these. You can put one there or something if you wanted to. Okay. So we're going to put some green into those and give those some color, but in general that's going to be the darks. Okay, blend that down. Okay, take a look. Okay, working out. Now, let's go to some green. So, let's see, this looks like a good one to use. It leans warm, it's an olive green. And we have this darker one, the deep grandmother green. Ooh, I like the name of that, grandmother green. We have some brighter greens. What's this one? Green. That's just called green. And then we have these bright greens. So I'm going to move some of these off to the side. Make some room for the greens. There's the greens. Okay. Now which one do I start with? That's always the fun thing to figure out. Okay, so this one leans warm. Olive green. Let's just see what it looks like on here, on this tree up here. It's sticky, but I can put some color there. Okay. It's really mushy at the top tip of that, but that's fine. Just drops the color, trying to keep it on that right side where the light is coming for the most part. Okay, now I gotta wipe the tip because I'm not getting any color to drop off. This green is a little bit harder consistency than that. There we go. Just gotta push in a little and kind of drag it down. See what's happening. It just wants to get all slippery. So I gotta put a little bit more pressure to kind of get the color to sit there. There we go. So there we go, starting to work. Okay. This is soft, but it's actually harder than this blue. So it doesn't want to really sit on top. I have to really press in there to get that color to just sit down. Otherwise it's just sliding over the top of it. But it's working out. I can get down in there. I just have to wipe that tip off every time. Okay. I'm going to leave some of these just that blue and not worry about it, and just kind of keep it loose. So some of these are going to be defined with a little bit more color, kind of bring those forward. But some of them are going to sit back. So I'm having a hard time getting this to sit. There we go. You have to like try to find an area that hasn't been. All right, let's keep it moving across. Get all the trees. And back the ones back in there. Just take that green, go right over that blue, smear it down. to leave some of those darker. So more pressure to get that color to sit down. Otherwise, it just kind of want to slide around on me. I'm going to move some of this paper away. There we go. Okay, that's good. We don't need a lot of detail, just an indication of some color, some green. Throw that in there. Okay, so that was olive green. Okay, let's put that down. Let's go to this green. It's just called green, and I'm just going to put that on here and create. Now I need a darker thing, but right here there's a patch of grass that comes across, and it's like that. And back in here you can see some different greens, and we just kind of use this green and just kind of make like an indication of some bush or some smaller trees or something, just a different green than this one. Yeah, but it's neutral, so it's not going to come too far forward. Okay, goes all the way, this grass goes all the way, you can actually see it back in here a little bit. Okay, this is going to be the water, so it's okay if I get a little green down in that water. It is not. So that that Prussian blue is definitely a softer consistency than the two greens I'm using, because this green just wants to slide. It doesn't want to deposit color all that easily. I have to really push to get that color to sit down. So that's a little different than what I'm used to. But we'll keep going with this. Maybe there's some different trees, you know. There's not pine trees, but maybe like some oak trees or maple trees or something. I don't know, different kinds of trees back in here. More of a circular motion. I just got to wipe that blue off every once in a while. Okay. Now we're going to go to this really light green, yellow green. This is going to be the color of our field. So we have this field right here. I'm going to put that right into it. It looks pretty good. It's nice contrasted color, nice bright. Right across. don't know if I'm going to blend all that way. I like to see that speckle color and some of that brown underneath coming through that green. So I might just leave it mostly unblended like that. Different textures. Pushing in, flicking up, just give me some different marks. Nice bright color, it's really pretty. Okay. I'm going to take a little of this gray titanium dioxide. I'm just going to throw that into the field a little bit. Okay, just a little bit different in certain spots. Okay, now we need to go darker here, where this meets the shore. And, oh, my dog.